Welcome back to styleXstudio, and in this class we're going to learn how to create a perspective bend in our image, an effect that's very similar to this. So without further ado, let's get straight into Photoshop. Okay, so let's open up our Photoshop, and as you can see I have one image imported into my workspace. It's just off an empty road. Now how do we create that perspective bend in this image? Now what I'd like to do is bend the road. And how do we actually achieve this effect? Very simply, make sure your layer is highlighted, go to your marquee selection and pick the rectangle marquee. Pick a point where you would like to make a selection. For example, I'd like to select it from this point here, which means I'd like to bend this road from this point downwards. Okay, so I will make a selection from here, go outside, left click down and drag my mouse across and down so it covers the image, and then release my left click. As you see, it creates an active area for me from these marching ants. Okay, now within this area is what I have selected. So now the next stage would be to go to edit and then copy, and then once again edit and then paste, and that will create a layer for us, as you see from your layers panel. Now make sure your layer is highlighted. Go to edit one more time and go to transform and then perspective. Once your perspective tool appears, grab one of the corners, the bottom right corner is what I'm going to grab, and then left click down and drag it inwards, and that should create a perspective for you. And mine should be around about the 57, 58 mark. Let's have a look. 57. Let's go for 57 here. Once I have it, I will release my left click and then click on this tick up here, which commits to the transform that I have just selected. Okay, so left click down, or enter or return on your keyboard will do the same thing. Once you have that, go to your crop tool and then let's crop the image to the size that we need. So we'll say about here. Just move it up slightly. So we just actually avoid adding these bits here into the image. Once we have the crop of our desire, we will click confirm. Press Ctrl and 0 to fit to screen. As you can see, it's coming to that effect. Now we just need to add some shadows and highlights. As you know, when light hits different parts of a structure, there's different shades on there, so we're going to try to create those shades to give it that effect. Okay, now we do that simply by making sure that our foreground and background colors are default, as in black is the foreground, white is the background. Once we have that, go to your layer 1, right click anywhere on the free space and bring up your, hit on blending options and bring up your layer styles. Once you have that, select gradient overlay. Opacity, we'll bring it down to 0. We'll work with this in a second. Gradient, make sure that you have the double click on this. So double click on your gradient, and from the pop-up box select the second option in, which should be foreground to transparent. Okay, once you have that, click OK. Make sure your reverse is checked. So instead of foreground to transparent, we want transparent to foreground. It just reverses it. Okay, our style is going to be linear, angle is going to be 90, scale is going to be around about, say it's at 100. Okay, now let's swiftly move back onto the opacity. Now if you keep an eye on this section, the perspective bend that we created. Now once we increase the opacity, slowly the shades starts to come into that part of the image, and then it's more visible where the drop is. Okay, so we're trying to create that effect. So we're going to look for a middle point where we think that opacity, I think at 24, 23 should be just fine for this image. Different images will have different lights, and they will have different types of opacity settings. Okay, so work with your own image to see what looks best in your image. Okay, for this particular image, I think these settings will work just fine. Once you have these settings, just click on OK, and there you are, guys. It's as simple as that. How to create a perspective bend in an image, also known as the Inception Effect. Hopefully you found this interesting and to your liking and useful to your work, your personal, private and your commercial projects. As always, guys, you've got to go away and do your practice runs. Do this. It's a very, very easy effect to master. Apply this technique on the same image maybe 5-6 times, so you get the hang of it and you understand what each process does. Okay, if you found it interesting and to your liking, smash that subscribe button, guys. Like and share the videos, and don't forget to ring the bell icon. Until the next class, as always, guys, take care of yourselves. Adios, amigos.